Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say Kol Haloyim La Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach where I learned this truth from. Peace, mercy, and blessings to the hopeful elect. I believe in this truth and sincerity. It's your brother Yabba Khan coming through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. From the GMS Cleveland branch of Lord willing this be edifying. Just something quicker through the spirit. You see, as I titled this, More Spirit, Less Flesh, I believe, Lord willing. Was more spirit, less flesh, which was sparked through the spirit by a saying that I heard one of the elders in the GMS Dallas camp say, which in the Lashon Kodash, or the Holy Tongue, the ancient Paleo Hebrew, that would be Racha, Ra, Bashar, Ma'ait. Racha being spirit, Ra meaning much or more, Bashar, flesh, Ma'ait, less. Okay? Racha, Ra, Bashar, Ma'ait. Okay, more spirit, less flesh. Okay, that's something we want to incorporate into our daily lives. The things we do on the daily. Okay, we want to make sure we giving more to the spirit and less to the flesh. And it's the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 8. I'm gonna start at verse 7. It says, "Be not deceived; the Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the spirit shall of the spirit reap life everlasting." Okay? And when you sow, okay, that's dealing with farming or husbandry, if you will. Okay? You sow a apple seed, and the apple tree gonna grow. If you sow a orange tree, an orange tree go grow. So in relation to the truth, okay, the flesh and the spirit, if you giving time and energy towards things pertaining to the flesh, giving all your time and energy to chasing women or chasing a woman, all your time and energy, your thoughts over to things of the flesh rather than things of the spirit, you're gonna end up being corrupted. And that corruption could lead you to death, lead you to your demise. But when you giving time and energy to reading, to studying, to praying, to being around brothers, being in the spirit, everlasting life is going to come from that. Okay? Let's read that in the NOT real quick. This is the book of Galatians, chapter 6 and verse 8 in the NLT. It reads, "Those who live only to satisfy their own sinful nature," the sinful nature being the flesh, okay? It says, "Those who live only to satisfy," okay? Only thing that's on your mind is satisfying the flesh, It says, "Those who live only to satisfy their own sinful nature will harvest decay, okay, and death from that sinful nature. But those who live to please the Spirit will harvest everlasting life from the Spirit." You see? Now let's go from there to the book of Romans chapter 8. This is the book of Romans chapter 8, verse 5. "For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit." Okay? Bible Shah, let me get that in the NOT. It's the book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 5 in the NOT. Well, I'm going to read it in the CSB, Salakia. It says, "For those who live according to the flesh have their mind set on the things of the flesh." Okay? Yahweh Shah said, "Let thy eye be single." For the light of the body is the eye. Matter of fact, I'm going to go there real quick. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 6, and verse 22. "The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil," okay, and your eye, it represents your spirit, okay, or your focus, okay, because if your eye is single, that means you got tunnel vision, so to speak. You only see one thing, okay, you focus on one thing. So it says, "But if thy eye be evil," okay, if your focus is on things that's not pertaining to the spirit, things that's not pertaining to the truth, it says, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore that light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? You see? If you focus on things that's not pertaining to you growing in the spirit, you benefiting the ministry to the best of your ability, it's going to show. How great is that darkness? It's going to show. You know, but let's go back to Romans chapter 8. Read that again in the CSB, Romans chapter 8, verse 5. For those who live according to the flesh have their mind set on the things of the flesh. Okay, their eyes evil. Okay, it says, but those who live according to the spirit have their mind set on the things of the spirit. You know, so that's just the point being, is we in a time period. Okay, we in the times of judgment. You know, redeeming the time because the days are evil, meaning trying to buy back the time. And we do that by making the best of every opportunity. So with every opportunity that comes, speaking to myself first and foremost, we should be trying to give to the more to the spirit and less to the flesh. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3. I'm gonna get it in the because I wanna, it's a word I wanna go into. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. To everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So it's a time and a place for everything, like the saying goes. Okay. Let's jump down to verse 5. Okay. It gives you, as you read, it gives you a time for this and that. But verse 5, it says, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. Okay. So let's look at the word embrace. Okay. It says to clasp in the arms. Okay. Like you hugging something. Okay. Bringing it close, so to speak. So it's a time to welcome things, to hold things close, and it's a time to let them go. And we in the time of letting go of the flesh, okay, and holding the spirit close, so to speak. It shouldn't be the other way around. You shouldn't be taking time off from the spirit. You should be taking time off from the flesh. Because when you taking time off from the spirit, that's gonna lead to you being corrupted. That's gonna lead to that corruption. But let's go into this word, refrain, okay? Because I'm gonna read it again. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 5, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. So it's a time to hold close the spirit, okay, which the time is now. But prior to us, you know, having the Holy Spirit, we was embracing the flesh. But it said it's also a time to refrain from embracing. So let's go into the word refrain. Okay. The Hebrew word is rachak. Rachak. Okay. It says to be or become far. Be or become distant. Be removed. Go far away. Okay. We are in the time of becoming distant to the flesh. Now we are in the flesh, but our mind shouldn't be on the things, set on the things of the flesh, set on the things of this world. We should be letting go from mortal thoughts. Lord willing, I'm gonna grab that. Okay. Back in the definition for the Hebrew word for refrain being rachak. Okay, it says to send far away. Okay. Strong's definition to remove, you know, but the point being it's we in the time of letting go of the flesh. The closer we get to Yahawashi returning, the farther away from the flesh we should be, and the closer to the spirit we should be. We should be embracing the spirit and refraining from embracing the flesh. So let's go from there to 2nd Ezra chapter 14. It's the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 14. Salakia. In verse 13. Now therefore set Salakia. Now therefore set thy house in order and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Renounce corruption. Let's look at the word renounce. Okay, this is the etymology, by the way. It says, give up something, especially to another. Okay, resign, surrender, to give up. Okay, so it says to renounce corruption, meaning give up corruption, give up the flesh. Okay, which goes back to becoming distant to the flesh, not giving more to the flesh than to the spirit, but embracing the spirit rather, being close to the spirit. Okay, verse 14, let go from the mortal thoughts. Okay, we're gonna look up the word mortal. Okay, mortal, this is the etymology. It says deadly, destructive to life. Okay, the things that the flesh lusts after, the desires of the flesh, the lust of the flesh, as the scriptures say, those things are destructive to life, because nothing good comes from the flesh. The flesh is our sinful nature. Okay, the chains of darkness. It says causing or threatening death. Okay, doomed to die, subject to death. Okay, because that's another thing that the flesh is scared of ultimately, is death. That's why it's the flesh wants to be comfortable. Okay, but it's the spirit that allows us being comfortable with being uncomfortable, if that makes any sense. Because the flesh, it dwells, or it thrives off comfortability. Okay, eating, drinking, I'm speaking of drinking, water, so to speak. But even strong drinking and yah, the flesh likes those things. Okay, but the spirit don't need those things to grow, to thrive, to excel, to do what it do. But the flesh needs those things. So let's go back to 2 Ezra chapter 14 and verse 14. Let go from the mortal thoughts. Okay, let go. Refrain from embracing. It says, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. Okay. Yahweh Shah said that the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So we should be putting off the flesh, which is the weak nature, to care about the things in the world, to care about the things in our own lives, because Yahweh Shah said, seek ye the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. The Lord is going to give us what we need as long as we seek in the spirit, seeking Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah, seeking to grow in the truth, seeking the Lord's mercy, seeking to be strengthened. Everything else that we need is going to be added unto us. But when you constantly worried about those the things outside of this truth, okay, you start to carry the burdens of man. Okay. It says, verse 15, 2 Ezra 14 and 15, set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. Okay. Because our mind should be occupied in prophecy. Our mind should be occupied on the spirit, on the things that's to come, which is the prophecies, but ultimately salvation. Lord willing, we of the elect. That's what our mind should be focused on. Okay. But with us being in this flesh, your mind might drift off, and next thing you know, you thinking too much about your woman being a demon. Okay. Your kids not being able to spend enough time with your kids. Your job may be talking about laying you off. Okay. Your car might be having car problems, so you gotta keep spending money on your car. These things could be most heavy, but it says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee. Okay, you gotta set these things to the side. Okay, set thy heart aright and constantly endure. But it says, and haste thee to flee from these times. Why? Verse 16, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen shall be done hereafter. It's about to get bad out here. Okay, that's the whole point of being in the spirit and not the flesh. It's about to get bad out here. Okay, and the scriptures tell you, matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. It's the spirit that's going to sustain your infirmities. Okay, that's going to kick in when you feel weak, not the flesh. Hold on, let me get that real quick. So lock it, bear with me. Spirit. Okay, this the book of Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 14. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity. You see? but a wounded spirit who can bear. See what that says in another translation. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 18, verse 14. In the NLT, it says the human spirit can endure a sick body, but who can bear a crushed spirit? Okay, and when you sick, you diseased. Okay, you are not at ease. You have no peace. Okay, but the spirit gives us spirit. But the spirit, okay, gives us peace through Yahweh Shah, through Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah. And that's why we supposed to constantly be in the spirit and constantly invest in the spirit, sow to the spirit. But it said, but who can bear a crushed spirit? Okay, and the people of the world, they got crushed spirits. That's why they constantly, okay, trying to sow to the flesh. Okay, because the flesh gives them that sense of peace. Okay, false peace, false hope. Because they can do they witchcraft, they drugs, they can drink, they can pop bottles and things of that nature. But when all of that is gone and your spirit is crushed, how you gonna deal with the being weak? Because the flesh is weak, But when adversity comes, it's gonna be the spirit that gets us through. Now let's go from there. There's another precept left my mind. But back to the title of the lesson: more spirit, less flesh. You see, because the spirit is what's gonna come out on top, not the flesh. Matter of fact, I'm gonna close out with this: the book of John, chapter 6. Salakia. John chapter 6 and verse 63. It is the spirit that quickeneth. We're gonna go into that word quickeneth. This John chapter 6. Well, this is the word quickeneth in the Greek.
Strong's G 2227. Zoa poieo. Zoa poieo.
Zoa poieo. Zoa poieo. To cause to live. Make alive, to give life. The spirit gives us life, not the flesh. It says by spiritual power to arouse and invigorate. Okay, to restore to life, to give increase of life. Okay, of the spirit, quickening as respects the spirit, endued with new and greater powers of life. That's what we have been. That's what we have been exposed to, new and greater powers of life. Okay, knowing how to go a certain amount of days without eating. Okay, that's the spirit that allows you to do that, not the flesh. The flesh we want to eat. Okay, knowing how to go without dealing with women. Okay, and ultimately that all goes back to discipline, but it's the spirit that allows us to demonstrate discipline. If I'm saying that right, it's the spirit, not the flesh, because the spirit quickeneth, meaning what? It gives life. Okay, it shows us the new and greater powers of life. But John 6 and 63, it says, it is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. Okay, the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Okay, so it's the spirit that gives us life. Okay, that gives us the power to endure ultimately, not the flesh. The flesh profiteth nothing. Nothing comes from the flesh. Even though Esau Edom, he has set up this wicked society, okay, here in these latter days in this present evil world, to have people believing that constantly giving to your flesh is gonna give you life. But no, that's not the case. The flesh profiteth nothing. Okay. Rachara Bashar Ma'ait. Okay, more spirit, less flesh. But Lord willing, this was edifying, just something quicker through the spirit. Closing, I want to say, Kol Haloyim La Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule, teach where I learned this truth from. Peace, mercy, and blessings to the hopeful elect that believe on this truth and sincerity. Till next time I say, Kwame Asha Allah wa Mawath Lababor. Shalom.